Rock and roll may live forever, but we only retire once. Kevin Lamour of Our Financial Plans and Quadris Investment Services offers a large range of financial solutions from some of the biggest leaders in the investment and insurance landscape of Canada. See how a solid financial plan built with friendly and professional advice can help. Find out more at ourfinancialplans.ca or give them a call at 705-949-1316. Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. I have all the way from, is it Lawrence, Kansas?
It's Lawrence, Kansas. That's right.
Lawrence, Kansas. I know that town. It's an old west town. And we have Mr. Wayne Gottstine. Wayne, how you doing, friend?
I'm doing well, Brian. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem at all, sir. Hey, you got a few musical projects on the go, don't you? You don't stay idle at all. You got Scroat Belly, and what else is on the go?
I've got the Wayne Gottstine Band and Split Lip Rayfield. I've got shows with everybody coming up this summer.
Right on. So what's I've listened to the music and I love the music on all of it, and it all has that rootsy kind of feel, but what's the major change in the differences between the three different projects?
Well, it's all kind of subtle. The Scroat Belly, thank you, Alex. Scroat Belly is like a very heavy country.
Yeah. To the point where Apple Music classifies it as rock.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of it that's rock, but it's really rootsy, but it's I wouldn't say it's punk rock, but it gets pretty heavy at times. Whereas like Split Lip Rayfield, we are three acoustic instruments. We've got a gas tank bass, banjo, mandolin. Our banjo player and me, we trade off on guitar duties. And see, the Wayne Gottstine Band, that's kind of turning into, that's just a straight rock band. I've got a singer sings with me, Jamie Brigham. I've got, her husband plays guitar. I've got a great bass player in Kelby. Verlin plays the drums. Then I've got a witch of a keyboard player. And so that's a pretty fun band. We get pretty wild in that one.
Yeah, that sounds like pretty cool. Listen, speaking of Apple Music, I came across an interesting recording you were on by a guy by the name of Grandpa Rufus. Pancakes Just for Two. I went, oh my God, I have to listen to this. Kind of a cool little song on there. Tell me, when was that done? And tell me how that came about.
Well, that's kind of a funny little story. I know Rufus in real life, and he lives in California.
Okay.
And he sent this song to me, and he's like, hey, can you put some mandolin on this? And of course, you know how I struggle with technology. What I did was I listened to it on one thing, and then I recorded it into the phone, and I just sent that phone recording over to him, and he touched it up a little bit.
Sure.
And put it on the song. And it's just it's a simple song, but it's a great tune. He's a good songwriter. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of captures like a live feel, like we're playing together.
Yeah, right.
But
so go
ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I don't know what I was going to say.
Well, I know what I wanted to say is you play a lot of damn instruments, son.
I've been.
What don't you play that has strings on it?
Well, my violin playing is terrible.
Oh, you still calling it a violin? You see, here when it's terrible, they call it a fiddle.
Well, yeah, my fiddle playing is also bad.
Okay, good.
So, which is kind of funny because, the mandolin is laid out like a fiddle.
Yeah, right. It's the same tuning, right?
Yes. And I just can't make it sound good. I can do all right, but it's been a while since I messed with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I play electric guitar, acoustic guitar, mandolin, and bass. I messed around with a little bit of piano, but I wouldn't play that in public.
There you go. I love it. Well, that's cool. Have a favorite one that you, if you're going to say, I feel like playing something, what's the first thing you walk into Wayne's music room? What's the first one you grab?
Most of the time, it's my Eastman acoustic. That thing just, it just has the sauce for something. I also have a Martin, and
Oh
when I
yeah.
want to play pretty stuff, I'll play my Martin. When I want to be aggressive, I'll play that Eastman. And
Gotcha.
but really, my biggest love is the electric guitar. That's
Okay.
why the Wayne Gottstein band and Scroat Belly are so much fun because I can just try to take it
Yeah,
to the
right.
stratosphere.
Yeah, sure. This has got to be a full-time gig for you, right?
Oh yeah, I can't. I've got so many irons in the fire. I'm unemployable. I haven't had a job in about 20 years, so I
I'm the same way.
just keep, I just work for myself and just book a lot of gigs and keep busy. And
Yeah, right. So I mean, Lawrence, Kansas, I mean, there's obviously a bigger market there for you to play in. I have a tough market to play in because I'm dealing with a city of 75 or 80,000 people that is, you know, probably the next major city is another 2 to 3 hours away on either side.
yeah,
So, you guys must have a pretty active scene where you can move around pretty simply and
there
get
is a pretty
gigs.
good scene. Um, but also, I drive down to Wichita a lot. That's 2.5 hours away. I
Hmm.
go to Manhattan, Kansas. That's where K State University is.
Okay.
I play shows there. I'm 45 minutes from downtown Kansas City, so we play gigs there. And then Split Lip, we have traveled all over the country.
Cool.
So we have gigs. We're not going too far out this year because I've just finished, having a big cancer project. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but we've got a couple of festivals we're playing this summer. Um, let's see, Oklahoma, um, here in Lawrence, probably. There's a festival in St. Louis that we're playing. So
Nice.
we're keeping pretty busy. And actually, we're playing at this beautiful place in southern Kansas called the Bartlett Arboretum.
Oh,
And it's incredible, beautiful place. And we're going to they call it the Treehouse Series. And we're going to play a show there. That's going to be one of my first shows back, June 8th,
right on.
with the band. So that'll be fun.
Well, you brought it up. I was going to try to just make it a light point, but we can still make it a light point. You are dealing with some health issues, but winning the battle, as they say, eh?
Well, yeah, about 4.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with lung cancer and kidney cancer.
Eh.
And I had a kidney surgery, which removed the cancer and was able to keep my kidney.
Oh, good
Uh,
for you.
then at first, I went through chemo and radiation, which really kicked my butt. Uh, but then I built back up and started doing shows again. And then I was diagnosed again last September. And this time we cut 2/3 of my lung out.
Oh, geez. Thank God you don't play wind instruments.
I know that would be, you know, that would be wild.
Hmm.
But, I can still sing. I'm still a little bit sore, but I'm working on getting everything back together, getting my body moving,
Good
uh,
stuff.
practicing every day and singing. So
Good for you.
everything's going pretty well.
All right, man. It's always nice to hear positive stuff when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a brutal disease.
Yeah. Tell me all about how you got really started, Wayne, because I know you got some years um, in the
Well,
business, and I want to hear where you started from and where you've been, and here you are.
well, I started playing guitar when I was about 11 and quickly joined up with some kids I went to school with, and we played every week, a couple of times a week, and then we actually started playing some shows, and we played a couple of like VFW shows
Of course.
when we were like 14 years old.
Cool.
So that's how we started, and I actually played drums in that first band,
Cool.
and so that was a lot of fun. And then we moved way out into the country. We lived in the city, and we moved way out in the country in my high school years. So that gave me a lot of time to practice guitar. And then when I got old enough, and well, when I went to college, there was a blues bar in town, and I used to go to that every week and do the blues jam. And then I made, um, a real good friend there, and he was an older guy and kind of took me under his wing, and I played rhythm guitar in his band sometimes when when I needed to fill in or he needed, and I learned a lot from him. And then I just started putting bands together as soon as I was legal drinking age to get into bars. I just harassed everybody with an instrument. You want to be in a band? You want to be in a band? And so I started out when I was 21 um, with this band called the Sluggos, and we were together for 20 years. And we
Nice.
played tons of show in the Wichita and the Kansas area. And when I was, let's see, 1995, Split Lip came around. But before that was Scrote Belly. Scrote Belly's been around for 30 years, 31 years now. Now Split
Yeah, I
Lip
was
has been
reading that.
around
Yeah.
for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like to keep my bands going. Uh, a lot of people their bands break up. I try to tell them, just take a break. Don't break your band up.
Yeah.
Just take a break for 2 years if you need to,
Yeah.
whatever.
A good idea. Yeah. Well said.
And because you can, especially if you're trying to make your life about music, you can keep these sleeping giants dormant until you need them, you know, and there's just no reason to blow up a good thing if you can just put it on the back burner and let everybody cool out until you can work again together or
Yeah.
whatever
Right.
the case is for taking a break. Sometimes it's burnout. Sometimes, you need a couple of years of some different kind of music to play, to get back to where you were or
I
whatever.
agree. That's well said. Yeah. Um, so you got some years a little bit on the road and playing around and stuff like that. And since we focus on DIY musicians, um, in regards to as you've played through the years, venues, we're always hearing how venues can make it better now in the 21st century music business. What's your experience with venues? What do you think they could do to make life better for the average working musician that's out there and not on a big budget tour?
Well, man, it's hard to say. I've been disappointed by so many clubs in the treatment of
Uh-oh.
musicians,
Okay.
Uh, and everybody's just trying to do business and everything. But I found that there's the places I've liked to play the most is where the people are hospitable and
Yes.
nice, where it's we're not asking for a lot of things when we go on tour. We don't have a big rider or anything. But if a band is touring and they're driving 6, 8, 10 hours a day, if you can pull up to the club and they have a pizza, hey, that's a big thing. That's huge. That means you don't have to go out and hunt for food. You don't have to whatever. Um, and just a little bit of, I know it sounds crazy, but just a little bit of green room action where you don't have the locals coming in and smoking it up and shit like that. You know,
Well said.
you want this privacy, not because you're a jerk, but because you've been in this van for, 8 hours a day for months at a time. And it just takes some decompression. You just need a little decompression
I agree.
and, a, sound techs are getting better. Their attitudes are better. Like 25 years ago, there's so many sound techs had such attitudes, like especially when you come in off the road
Oh
and you
yeah.
try to explain to him, these are the things that work with our instruments because we have, you know, especially Split Lip. That was my biggest touring band. Our bass player plays a gas tank bass. Yeah, he has a $200 pickup in it and an incredible sound system rig for it. And our sound man knows what is best for it to sound. We try to,
Sure.
a lot of sound techs are just going to be like, well, I know what I'm doing. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you know what you're doing, but I would listen to us just for a minute. So that's one of the reasons we generally bring a sound man with
Yeah.
us.
That's
And
cool.
and on the same token, when I'm dealing with my sound man, I'll be like, the sound tech in the club knows the system better than you. You know, pump them up about that, you know, and then work our sounds into that system, you know. And
Very
if we
good.
work together, you know, like we had a sound man one time and a guy complained to me, is like, your sound man just came around just waving his dick around. And I was like, that's not how he is. He's just trying to get the best sounds for us. When we've got this crazy instrument, and then we have a banjo and a mandolin, and also we are as loud as a rock band with drums. You know, it takes a little bit of science to get it taken care of.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
So I kind of went rambling on that, Brian.
No, that's a god. I love it. Hey, Wayne, and this will be edited out, but I'm gonna leave this here. I've just noticed that because of our time that we took, it's already telling me I got 10 minutes left or less, 9 minutes in the
Okay.
meeting. So here's what I'm gonna do. When we get close to the end, I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna make another meeting link and I'm gonna send that to you. But what's the best place to get it right onto your phone? Right through
Right through the app again.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, but I mean the link, I have to send you the link. So should I do that?
Well, the
Send it through
last one,
Instagram?
Instagram is fine. That
Yes.
works.
If you hit it on there, then it'll open your app on your phone and you'll be ready.
Okay, great.
Okay. So in the meantime, we'll let it do its countdown. We still have 8 or so minutes left here, so ready to go in that respect.
Fantastic.
All right. So sick songwriting. Is it a
Yes.
solo effort for you, or do you have a go-to guys you write with?
Well, mostly 95% of my songs have been just me writing them.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, I had in Scroat Belly and Split Lip, we had another member, Kirk Runstrom. He passed away 17 years ago
Oh,
from cancer, and he and I wrote a lot of songs together in the early days. And we also were a friendly competition where he would write a song and then I would write a song, and he was like he would write one and I would write one, and we came up with just so many songs and so many different styles that we had to have so many bands to get it done because we were just writing all the time. Um, Now, usually, like with Split Lip, if I sing the song, I wrote that song. If Eric sings the song, then he wrote that song,
gotcha.
and so on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a little bit more co-writing with the band this year. Yeah, like I've been like I sent Jeff. Jeff and I co-wrote. That's our bass player. We co-wrote a thing a couple of weeks ago where I had this good chorus, and I was like, I've got this chorus, but nothing else is coming out. And then he wrote these two great verses for it, and so I'm trying to, you know, incorporate more of that so that, you know, all the songs sound more like all of us together. Like you can tell my songs, like that's a Wayne
Hmm.
song, that's a Jeff song,
Sure.
that's an Eric song. But if we can start building these songs together for this next, you know, however long we play, you know, just I think it would behoove us to sound more like ourselves together.
Gotcha.
And
That's very good. So musicians get all kinds of fun gigs, Wayne, and I just saw something that's done with another partnership. But you recently sung to a baby, and I just thought
did
it was the greatest thing in the world. Tell me about that.
well, here in Lawrence at the iHeart Local Music, every
Oh, okay.
year this photographer, videographer, Fally, she videos a local artist singing to a baby. And they've done it for like 20 years now.
Nice.
And so I came up in the drawing and I drew a good baby. That baby was easy to work with. And we met down at the park. But this baby's parents, and I know the baby's older brother,
Oh,
this
that's
baby's
cool.
parents are both musicians. So
Nice.
he's used to guitars, and we did that in 2 takes. I did 2 songs, and that's all we did. And he was super good and easy to work with, and we got a lot of run from that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's fantastic. That's a really kind of cool uh, promotion, and just
Yeah,
and keeps the makes the kids the center of attention, and I like that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Now, sorry, I'm trying to. I can't even read my own handwriting some days. That's how it's bad. It's getting there. Um, I see that you just in a lot of your social media and your not even social media so much, but even on your Wayne's your website, you are you're kind of more of a worried about live playing and live performing than you really care about streaming for that matter or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The um,
Because I looked on, you got, yeah, you want some songs? Yeah, you can find them here, here, and here. But
yeah.
we're doing this.
Yes, the live thing has always that's always been my deal. I love connecting with people. I love, if somebody is out there singing my songs back to me, that is incredible. That's what I live for, and I don't care if I have, if the crowd is 10 good listeners, that's good enough for me. Um, Split Lip, we draw some pretty good sized crowds,
Yeah, I
and that
saw that.
energy is just incredible. We don't play too many because we're like a hot rod. You just can't drive those too much. You got to work on them after every race.
I
So
like that.
we're a high performance, a high octane um, machine. So we can't do too many shows, but yeah, I just love playing shows. I like playing solo shows. And during the pandemic, and then kind of building my lung back from the first round of cancer, I started doing a lot of live stream TikToks, and that
Oh
helped
yeah.
me, you know, build up my lung again and build up my stamina. And because when you're practicing by yourself, it's a little bit different than like say singing to people, even online. You're like, oh, somebody's watching me. I'd better work. And so, I did a lot of those live streams, and that really helped build my vocals back up after my first round of cancer,
Yeah.
and just connecting with people. I just love to play, and that seems to be my favorite time of my existence is if I'm playing music and people are happy about it.
I gotta love it. Yeah, I hear you, my friend. So, are you still recording with Split Lip Rayfield
We do have some
and the
new
Scroats?
stuff. I'm hoping to record this year, at least an EP or something. So we'll see. I've got some new songs that we've been working on, and I'm sure Eric has some stuff floating around. We've just started practicing again, getting ready for these shows, and working up a couple of new songs. So
Sure.
I'm hoping I'm hoping to record something this year.
All right, on. Excellent. Now, I was looking on Bandcamp and I noticed where some of your music projects are going through, but they go through Bloodshot Records.
Oh yeah, I used to be on Bloodshot Records. Maybe I'd investigate that. Uh, they did one time send me a bill for stealing a Scroat Belly CD out of the office. I didn't have one. And I was like, man, Nan, I need a CD. She's like, you have to buy one. I was like, I'm not buying one.
No kidding, it's yours, band.
And so I took one, and she sent me a bill. But they're no longer. We broke up with them a long time ago.
Ah,
Split Lip did. They might have a little bit of Scroat Belly stuff still going on. But the old owners have sold and somebody else has bought it. I should investigate that the next time I go to Chicago.
there you go. So was that like the real deal record deal?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was, eh?
They Scroat Belly first signed with Bloodshot in '95, maybe,
Right.
and we put out Daddy's Farm, which is an okay record. I like it better now, but compared to our self-released Great Alaskan Holiday, which you cannot find anywhere, uh,
That's got to be reissued, man. I love the title.
yeah, that record is so good. It's way
Definitely.
better than Daddy's Farm, but um, Daddy's Farm was just I don't know. And then anyway, Scroat Bell, then Split Lip signed with Bloodshot, and we did one, two, three, 4 records with them, maybe 5, and then we all broke up. The me and us and Bloodshot, we broke up, and because we were like on the road selling an insane amount of CDs and buying those CDs from Bloodshot, yet our recoup costs were not going down. So,
Yeah.
so we sent in an accountant, and then it was such a mess they couldn't even figure out what was going on. So we just said, "Give us the rights to our music, and we will walk away."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. And that's always what I ask. See, and I was going to skip that question with you because I saw you had that. So, but now I can ask it with knowing I'm going to get a cool answer in that respect. So I always ask the DIY musicians, would you give up the DIY career for a record label and management and all that fun stuff? Or would you say, I still want to have some of that in my control,
I
having been on both sides now?
Having been on both sides, I like the DIY. You know, there are things that I struggle with, but I can get them done.
Hmm.
But like, especially with Split Lip, when we need to take a break, we need to take a break. We don't need management giving us shit. We don't need a record label giving us shit. It's like, we don't need anybody telling us what to do. And Split Lip is terrible about that. You can't tell Split Lip to do anything or it won't happen. So, and, you know, we had this one booking agent. I'm not going to say his name. He lived next door to Ozzy, and so so we were in LA and we were at his house, and we were it's like after doing these 120 dates a years, which really when you 120 days doesn't sound like that much, but really, and you put all the travel days in, you're gone for 160 days a year. You know, and we were talking about, we need a break, we need to see our kids, we need to do this. And so this pompous ass, while sitting at his pool with his daughter on his lap, was just like, well, you just got to get used to not, seeing your kids. It's like, well, we are not new. We've been doing this for 15 years. We know that. But right now, we need to see our kids. That's what's important. And so we broke up with him as well and just started just picking and choosing the shows that we were doing. And as it turns out, we were making just the same amount of money
There you go.
with half the work. When we got rid of management and we got rid of a booking agent, all of a sudden we were making a lot more money.
I love it.
And
Absolutely love it.
and so making more money, we can do fewer shows. And especially for Eric, at one time he had 3 school-age kids all at once. And
Yeah,
and sometimes you got to take a break and take care of that business.
I agree.
And when you get management and record companies, they don't care about that. They're just push, push, push. If they're making money from you, they're pushing you. So, and that is a killer of productivity and creativity. When you got somebody stepping on your hands, that doesn't make you want to produce.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I got news for you though, because I asked this question to the majority of my guests that I've had on, and I had a young lady, Tara Spencer from Canada, Nova Scotia, and I met Tara before. She's a great lady, but she actually had the contract in front of her hand and walked away from it.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that the music business now is for those people who want to be, Taylor Swift types famous, and those that just want to get out and play and make a living. It's what we do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's doable. There's so many people that don't understand that, I'm not super famous or anything. I have a fan base, but you can make a living. It's a humble living, but you can do it if you hustle and you don't have to sell your soul to do it.
Yeah.
If you can get a circuit going of places, enough places that you don't oversaturate the market or whatever, you can do this. You can do it solo, you can do it duo, whole band, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, right. Well, I would have to, I understand why they do it. I said, but I'm curious in regards to the market because I know what up here they're paying what they like for a solo guy like me to say, okay, I want to go play a pub or something like that. I mean, you're paying for playing for money 30 years ago that
Mhm.
you got then. I mean, what did I get offered? 150 bucks for 3 sets.
Yeah,
Okay, wait a
that's
minute.
too much.
Look, sure, it's not the biggest chart, but it's an actual terrestrial radio station. I got the number 29 in their weekly countdown, or 24 the second week. Does it count for something? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
original music. I'm not just pumping out covers. And it always boils down to the bottom line is, oh yeah, but who are you kind of thing. Will you bring anybody there? And it's like, oh man, it's not that way anymore. It's a partnership. And these are the
yeah,
same ones that tell you they do zero promotion for you. You may get a mention once on their Instagram.
exactly.
And then they look at you and
That's
say, you didn't draw a crowd. Do you have an audience?
Yeah, that's one thing. Back to your question earlier about what clubs could do better. That's one of the things that they could do. And I
Promotion.
am, I'm relentless on social media, especially in the past 4 or 5 years. I didn't always have a social media presence, but now I have different apps because I want to get these shows out. I want people to know about them. That is an advantage of having the internet now, but there's nothing that replaces, a good, well placed 20 posters, where these clubs go to the record stores, go to whatever the corner pole where they put their flyers. You got to get the clubs need to work on that more. And like me with our band, Jeff, our bass player, he is a brilliant graphic designer. He is going to make incredible artwork. I am going to be bugging people with interviews and flyers, and I'm going to send them flyers, and I'm going to do social media. I'm going to make silly videos all the time. That's part of the DIY thing that you trade in. That's how we've mixed these two questions together, I think,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
Yeah.
um, you know when you do have management, they take care of all that stuff, but you're paying the hell out of them, really.
Hmm.
Like that 10% or 15% doesn't sound that like that much until you get rid of it and start doing those things yourself. And you're like, holy shit, we've got some extra money laying around now.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know?
Yeah.
So, so yeah, there's a trade off. It depends on now, especially for me. I know that I'm 50, almost 57 years old. I'm not a marketing beauty or anything. I'm not, there's other than
I'm going to be
my,
63. Look at this face.
yeah, I mean, we're not going to be singing models or whatever, but we have all this experience and we have all this, people that we've met through the past and, years and years and decades of music or. So a guy like me probably would need to stay do it yourself,
Yeah.
and I can, maybe a younger person, um, it's different. They're listening to different stuff. I don't know that younger people are going to clubs as much to see live music,
I agree.
as like, say, when we were in our 20s, where was, and it seems like maybe we said that 25 years ago. Yeah. I don't think younger kids are going to see music.
Yeah.
But
Oh, well.
from the time we were born in the 60s till now, the population of the world has doubled,
I agree.
and I always tell people, if they're wanting to get going, it's like there are 8 billion people in the world. There's going to be a couple hundred who like your stuff. Just go out there and throw it out there and, see what sticks. You'll get some people behind you. You get a couple of people behind you and that will multiply, It's
Yeah.
all about
And they tell
tenacity
and they tell two friends and they tell two friends as the saying goes. Yeah.
and so on and so on. Yeah.
Right on. Wayne, thank you so much for coming on the program. And please tell the folks where they can find about you and all you do.
Well, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Threads and Facebook under my name, Wayne Gottstine. Um, you can check out my band Split Lip Rayfield at stitchgiver.com. Somebody stole our Split Lip Rayfield.
Oh,
So now
bummer.
it's stitchgiver.com,
Stitch
and that's the
Giver.
name of our bass. If you want to see some interesting instrument, go check out Split Lip Rayfield gas tank bass, and you can learn about that. It's a
I
super
love it.
fun. Jeff is really like, it's amazing that we have done this for 30 years.
I love it. Hey, Wayne, speaking of your gas tank base, you got to check out a friend of mine. He lives in Nashville. He's from here. Um, his name is Shane Chisholm.
Okay.
Great artist, great songwriter. You got to see his tank base.
I would like to check it out.
And he has one made out of a Stanley Cup.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my
But
God.
his doesn't have one string. He's got full four strings and a proper neck on it and the whole
Oh,
deal.
nice.
But it's the body of a Chevy Astra van the gas tank came from.
Nice.
And then he built a fake Stanley Cup and put the base on it.
That's hilarious.
Well, there you go, sir. Thank you so much, Wayne. And
Brian, thank you for having me. It's been a blast talking with you.
yeah, it really has. Thank you so much, Wayne. I much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rock and roll may live forever, but we only retire once. Kevin Lamour of Our Financial Plans and Quadris Investment Services offers a large range of financial solutions from some of the biggest leaders in the investment and insurance landscape of Canada. See how a solid financial plan built with friendly and professional advice can help. Find out more at ourfinancialplans.ca or give them a call at 705 949 1316.